Good morning, everyone. My name is Evan, and today for Psalm a Day, we're looking at Psalm 35. But in light of ANZAC Day last weekend, we're using it as a bit of a pretext to discuss a Christian approach to ANZAC Day. Particularly, if we look at the first three verses of Psalm 35, contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take up shield and buckler. Arise and come to my aid. Brandish spear and javelin against those who pursue me. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. And so there's no two ways about it. This psalm, a lot of this psalm, is about the Lord defending his people, particularly. And the metaphors that are used are warfare metaphors. And so we won't discuss warfare, that's a well-discussed issue, but instead maybe just a quick Christian approach to ANZAC Day. Now, of course, a lot of the Bible is about war and is about violence, unfortunately. And the death and resurrection motifs that Trent mentioned are rampant throughout the ANZAC Day memorials, particularly as even though the diggers have died, they live on in our memories, and that thus is the catch cry, lest we forget. But what should we think about this? Perhaps there are some Christians who are saying, well, we should never ever celebrate war. And so when it comes to days like this, we should not do anything, we should not celebrate them. In fact, some could argue that we protest them. Now, is this a right approach? In my opinion, no, it's not. After all, these men went out to fight for others who couldn't defend themselves, or fight to stop evil. And a lot of them gave their lives for this. And so when it comes to ANZAC Day, I recognise that the values that the ANZAC stood by, that stopping evil, going out and defending other people, and defending their homes and standing by the man beside them, is something that as a Christian I wholeheartedly subscribe to. When I was applying to join the ADF, that was the same, reason for my wanting to join. Whenever recruiters would ask me, but you're a Christian, how can you justify that with your faith? And I say, well, I can justify it all the more because I've been called to love my neighbours. And doesn't that mean going out and defending people who are unable to defend themselves, and stopping evil where I can, if I have the tools to do it? I'd rather do it with the gospel, but if I must do it with a rifle, if that's what it takes, and if the person who is so bent on doing evil, if that's the only way I can stop them, well, perhaps that is what's needed. Now, did I go on to join the ADF? No. And does my opinion really matter on this? No, not really. But I guess I've thought long and hard about what I think about ANZAC Day, and what I think about war, and what I think about violence. And so when I come to ANZAC Day, I come ready to answer. I come ready to answer grief. I come ready to answer questions, and I come ready to give an account for the faith. In Philippians, Paul urges all Christians to be able to give an account for the faith that they have. And so there are lots of things that we all need to think through and have answers to. And this is just one of them. Maybe war and violence is something which you need to think through and you need to be able to give an account of if someone asked you one day, or perhaps maybe you've missed the opportunity. One thing that I'm sure of is that as long as we continue to share our opinions and help each other work on the things that we believe, as iron sharpens iron, as one particular psalm says, then we will become only more effective ministers of his word. And that's, of course, my prayer for you, and it's definitely my prayer for me. Perhaps reflect on Psalm 35 and take a couple moments to think about what's your position on ANZAC Day, and what's your position on war. Grace and peace to you.